Hi, this is Chuck Stahl looking at culture and economics. Now, most economists don't look at culture. Mainstream economic theory focuses on the individual. Culture, if considered at all, would typically be treated as an input in determining an individual's preferences. Now, there are some exceptions. Development economists who are looking to promote growth in poor parts of the world find that culture does matter, and that what works somewhere in Asia may not work in South America or Africa or even another part of Asia. Businesses also recognize that cultural understanding can help them sell more stuff and will turn to anthropologists to do ethnographies of their customers. Now, a kind of hidden place the culture is important for economics is in the institutions, the legal system, the standards, the market system. These are all shaped by culture, and those institutions then shape economic outcomes. But overall, economists tend not to consider culture in a systematic way, and we will often borrow cultural ideas from anthropology. So understanding culture helps us understand social actions and anticipate them. Anthropologists often define culture as a system with many components, a system that helps members of a society adapt to and put meaning to their experiences. Culture is reproduced and transmitted across generations, and culture can be transformed. It is dynamic, but some elements can be long-lasting. Now, culture includes many separate things. It can include customs, beliefs, values, laws, religion, language, literature, arts, tools, morals, ideals, knowledge, myths and legends, accepted ways of behaving, manners, ethics, ceremonies, rituals, social institutions, child raising, foods, style of dress, gestures, and concepts of time, personal space, fairness, leadership, or self. Uh, Culture includes worldview, ideas and thought patterns, and understanding of the natural world. Essentially, a total way of life. Now, one thing about culture is only part of it is visible. So there's certain elements, what people eat, how they are celebrating a particular event, that are observable. And then there are underlying beliefs, their values, and deep culture that are hidden, that are not directly observable. When we look at human behavior, we can sometimes find value to putting three levels. So we have certain things that are universal. So universal behaviors are common to all cultures and all societies. So everyone eats. Everyone has to have food. Cultural behaviors are those common to a particular group. So in the US, there are certain foods that are not generally culturally acceptable. Horse meat or dog meat are not common. In other countries, things that are common to eat in the US are things that are fairly unusual or taboo. So the second level is the culture level. And then the third level are the personal behaviors, and these are specific to every individual. So for instance, my daughter doesn't like Brussels sprouts. Nothing cultural, she just doesn't care for the flavor. My friend Manuel, of Mexican-American extraction, didn't like spicy food. Again, just a personal behavior. So when we observe things, sometimes it is difficult to separate, is someone acting in a particular way because that's how that person is, or are they following in a cultural manner? An important issue of culture is that our own culture is often invisible to us. Like gravity or air, it's always around us. It affects our behavior, but we don't always consciously consider it. And this can be a problem. If we don't think about culture, we may incorrectly assume that our own particular cultural behaviors are universal. And so when we see people doing things that are different from our own cultural practices, we may say that they are wrong, that they are doing something that is deviant. Now, I do want to mention that cultural differences exist within a country. In some places, we will have many different cultures within a country. So these could be regional differences, perhaps differences north and south. These could be ethnic or racial cultural differences. We can have differences between rural and urban cultures. Now, all of these cultures, these subcultures, will share some common cultural values, but they may differ on some specific things. We also see cultural differences that exist across individual firms or individual colleges, where some have a particular work culture or a particular campus culture. Now, conversely, cultural similarities can exist across societies. We share some values and some cultural components with other countries, but not every element. This has been Chuck Stull from Kalamazoo College. Thank you for listening.